Hello, I'm Willie Stevens.
And I'm Brandy Stevens.
And welcome to the Journey of Us.
Welcome to the Journey of Us podcast. And this is season 4, episode 4. We're going to do it a little bit different, and we're going to discuss some unpopular opinions in relationships. Yeah. So let's dig in. First question. Is unconditional love realistic or is it unhealthy?
Well, I think it potentially can be both.
Okay.
When you're talking about I guess you can be in love with a person, but not necessarily stay with the person. So I guess I'm thinking more along the lines of you loving a person so much that it hurts you.
Okay.
And so if a person, you love a person so much, you want to do things for that person. You want to help that person. You want to lie for this person. You want to put myself at risk for that person. So I can see that part of it being unhealthy.
Okay.
And especially when you're looking at from my profession, you see that a lot. You see women taking charges for guys. And I feel as if that is the unhealthy side of loving a person unconditionally. But I do think that it is important that if you are going to love a person, you cannot put conditions on your love. Because if you are putting conditions on your love, then are you really loving this particular person?
Right. And so that's kind of what I was thinking as far as the healthy side. I do think, and so when I think about love in a relationship, I kind of liken it into like the love that you have for a child too, because in most cases, despite what the child does or their behaviors and how they show up, you still love them.
Yeah.
Although they may not make the best choices or may not be the best version of themselves, you still love them and allow them to be who they are. And that's what I've kind of learned when it comes to a relationship too. Like, you can't be trying to change people, I guess, at their core, or, loving a person based on what you think their potential will be.
Yeah.
And loving them based on what they do or what they don't do. You have to love the person for who they are. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the most beautiful gift, to love a person for exactly who they are and not try to manipulate and change them to something that you want them to be. Giving them room to grow, but nah.
Okay, and so, what do you think about is there a difference between loving them unconditionally and also being in love with them?
I think so, because I think you can love a person unconditionally and not be in love. Mm-hmm. Like, I can love you and let you be who you are, but not be in relationship and be in love with you. Yeah. Allowing you to be who you are. That don't mean just because I allow you to be who you are and I love you for who you are, that's good for me.
Yeah.
As a person, because it may not be good for me. The way you show up and the way you talk to me or the way you treat me, that could absolutely be who you are, but I can still, put space between that and not be in love and in relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you think that soulmates are real, or are they created over time?
I think they're created over time. I don't believe in soulmates.
What do you believe in?
I believe in works.
I know you believe in work.
I believe in putting in the time, putting in the work to try to build something, whether it's a business, a relationship, or whatever it is, a family. I think that's what I believe in, because I truly believe that there are a lot of these terms that people use to make them feel as if they are Disney characters and they are, this is meant to be, and all that mushy stuff. But I don't think any of that is real, and I don't think it can last without work.
Okay. Because I was going to say, one may say that we were meant to be. How, we came through our journey. We kind of we talked about this in earlier on, where we were kind of dating, but not dating. I liked you, and then you ended up leaving me alone and making other decisions, and then things kind of came back around. So one may say that this was meant to be.
Well, one may say a lot of things, but I truly believe, regardless of how things come about, work is what's going to determine whether or not the people are going to be together or not.
Yeah. I don't know what I think about soulmates, because I don't know, because I guess in certain instances people feel that there's this strong attraction, or, all of the adversity that we've gone through has caused us, and we keep coming back to each other. So they could view that as being a soulmate, or it could be viewed, like you said, as I'm just willing to put in the work. I think it may be a little bit of both, where there is something underneath, but you still have to put in the work and the commitment. And maybe that tie to one another kind of helps you put in the work, or I don't know. But I do think that you have to put in the work, and over time you build that history together.
Yeah.
That's another reason why, I don't like to get in other people's business, and as it relates to relationships when they have ebbs and flows, because if somebody have history together, it's hard to kind of come in between that.
Yeah.
Because I can forgive you and we can move on, and everybody else is still mad by this one instance. So history and building that over time, it really plays a huge role in the longevity of the relationship.
Yeah.
I feel. So is it okay to go to bed angry sometimes?
Is it okay? Yeah. Yeah. It's that's life. That's real.
Yeah.
It's realistic that you're going to go to bed upset, because what happens if you upset me right before I go to bed? Am I not to go to bed until we talk this out?
Yeah.
Or what if I'm sleepy? What if you drink some wine and now right before I go to sleep, you done said something and I'm upset? Do I stop being tired? And, it's this is a joke, but ultimately I'm saying here is that, yes, I don't know whether or not it's okay or not, but I know it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it does happen, and it can happen. And I think that, we're taught to not do that. But like you said, like, what if something comes up right before bedtime, or what? And I know for me, sometimes if we have conflict, it's like I can't go to sleep after that.
Yeah.
But am I supposed to deprive you of your sleep because I'm still awake toiling with it? And so I think, yes, sometimes it happens, but you have to be committed to resolve it as soon as possible.
Yeah. And
not let it linger too long. Otherwise, both of y'all up, and don't let you have small children. And so you up and sleep deprived, and you're mad, and you still got to go to work the next day.
Yeah.
So I guess there has to be the ability to let it be where it is, and then find some resolution the next day or as soon as you can. Otherwise, you just up and you sleepy.
Yeah, because it goes into multiple days sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes it takes longer to, I guess, get it out, think it completely through.
Right.
For you to actually try to find a resolution. And so I don't think it's realistic to expect that you're not going to go to bed upset with the other person or frustrated with the other person.
And then sometimes, too, if you push it and you're tired, you can end up making the conflict worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
bad decisions. You're just going off on the other person.
Because you're tired and you need to get some rest. And so when you're tired, I find when you're tired, when you're hungry, when you're frustrated, you can't think like you need to and express yourself effectively. So sometimes it may just be best just to go to bed, get some rest, and then you don't want to do that, but sometimes it's just reality.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, it's Miss Brandy here, and we're so excited to announce our expansion, servicing Zachary, Baker, Southern, and all of our surrounding communities. We're continuing to bring healthy hair care, consistency, and that luxury hair salon experience that you've come to know and love, now even closer to you. Follow along with us as we bring it all together. We can't wait to partner with you on your healthy hair care journey. See you soon.
Okay. Should your partner meet all of your emotional needs?
Is that like a question for you or for me? Because I don't need anybody to meet my emotional needs. I'm not that type that I'm not a very emotional person anyway.
Okay.
And so, from a man's perspective, I prefer to keep that inside. I'll talk to you about different things I'm dealing with and all of that. But as far as meeting my needs, as far as emotional wise, I don't really have a lot of those other than us just maybe talking about some things that I am, I may not feel comforted with or comfortable discussing, but I'm not going to necessarily feel as if you have to meet those needs for me.
Yeah, we've talked about this early on. No, at this point, I don't think it's your responsibility or my partner's responsibility to meet my emotional needs. That's my responsibility. But like we talked about in previous episodes, a lot of times we can't hold our partner responsible for that. Thinking that they should make us happy and they should fulfill something in us that we don't necessarily have, whether it's validation, acceptance, fishing for compliments, or, having them want to read our minds, like we talked about before. So no, at this point, it's not your responsibility to me. I need to do that myself and make sure that I'm okay, do the work to know what I need, and then go get it, whatever that need is, whether it's through therapy, whether it's through journaling, taking a walk, understanding what my emotions, like what I need if I'm angry, if I'm sad, understanding what that need is, and then having the proper coping mechanisms that best suit me to take care of my own needs, because that's not your responsibility. It's been a journey, so we're here now. I wasn't always there.
Okay.
So, and that causes conflict in a relationship when you may not, I guess, consciously expect it, but underneath your actions, sometimes there's an expectation for that. So at least I did.
In an accident, want somebody to fight for you. Who will fight for you? Will, big truck insurance. Will, 18-wheeler accidents. Will, get what you deserve. Will, who will fight for you? Will, car accidents. Will, serious injury. Will, get what you deserve. Will, www.callwillywill.com.
Do you think that space can bring people together or push them apart?
I think it can do both based on who it is and the time you're talking about apart. I know we spent time apart early on in the relationship. It wasn't because we were trying to, I guess, make a determination on whether or not we want to be with one another. It was just more so of a distance thing where I'm trying to build something here and you were somewhere else. And so I think, it required us to trust one another more when we were so far apart. But I don't know that it itself was that thing.
Yeah, I think it depends on the people in a relationship. Sometimes I do, like they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. In some instances, it can bring you closer. In some instances, it can pull you away, because some people, when you talk about the love languages, they need that quality time. They need that physical touch. And if that's part of their love language, being apart with distance can possibly cause them to not feel loved and feel like they're getting what they need from the relationship. So I think it's really just determining what you need in a relationship and understanding like what distance can do, and it's all about making the commitment. Like, I think for me, if I knew, let's just say for whatever reason, you open another practice and you need to move to New York. As long as I know that it's temporary, I think I can be okay.
Yeah.
Knowing that like you're going to build and going to kind of lay the foundation for us. But if it was kind of like an unknown and not really understanding how long it would be, I think it would cause, because I want to be around you. Mm-hmm. So I think it just depends on the people in the relationship and then like ultimately what the goal is as it relates to distance. I know that for some people, it may not be physical distance, or they may decide to take a break in their relationship. And I guess that can go either way. Sometimes in those relationships, you may decide, oh, I need to come back to this person. And in other instances, being honest with yourself, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
So
it's more of an opportunity for both parties to determine whether or not this is what we want or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Helps you to step away and get clear, I would think. Final question. Is it possible to be in love and still feel lonely?
Yes, it is. You can love a particular person, but feel as if you can't express yourself with that person. I know I've experienced it, even in our relationship. And it's not that there's something that you did that makes me feel as if I couldn't express myself. It's more so of me not wanting you to know that I had insecurities. And so I felt alone because I couldn't express them to anyone. And so I think, yes, it's completely possible. We've discussed, a couple of episodes ago about how, after 17 years, I just started telling you certain things.
Yeah.
And so I think being in a position where you are holding so much in, it can make you feel lonely because you feel as if nobody gets me. I can't really say this to anybody because then I'll be outed as a fraud to this person.
Yeah.
Because this person thinks the world of me and they put me on such a high pedestal. If they really knew that I'm barely holding this all together. And so I can see that being a lonely place. And also when you're talking about having success can be a lonely place.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I do. I believe it.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of just not feeling that the person understands.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I felt that I know he understands, but he's not dealing with this particular set of circumstances. So how can he really understand? And so you create isolation, being in love, but still, and that's how you end up feeling lonely, I think.
Yeah.
I think the cure to that, which I've learned, is just to talk about it and opening up. Because sometimes it's not really about being understood, but just being heard.
Yeah.
In those instances. Because I know that your experiences are different than mine. You're a Black man, I'm a Black woman. We experience the world in a different way, although we are both business owners. But I think it's about being heard in those instances. And that helps to remove the isolation so that you don't feel so lonely. And so what happens a lot of times in relationships when you do feel lonely and you may not be comfortable talking to your partner, you end up talking to other people.
Yeah.
Which I feel is an issue. So
talk to your partner.
Yes, talk to your partner. I mean, I chose you for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I want to be able to get to a point to where I'm open with you about my feelings, about my insecurities. Because that's another level of trust too. And if I can't be vulnerable and open with you, then who can I do that with? Somebody who I share a life with. And I know it's hard, like you said, to kind of expose yourself in that way. But the first step is to do it bit by bit so that you don't feel alone. Because that's the beautiful thing about being in a relationship, building a life together, is we get to do this together.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for joining us this season where we discuss everything from jealousy to unpopular opinions in relationships. Be sure to like and subscribe.
So catch us next time on
The Journey of Us.